Welcome. This is
Yeah,
Takara. I'm with the legend.
let's go, Carla Harris. Let's go.
This is our special edition of the crossover. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we have to provide you guys with what's going on, current events. So, without further ado, we are going to bring up Dr. Cassaundra Wimes.
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome, Doc. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
We are super excited to have you here, and I'm always honored as I see you ladies just continue to prosper. And it's like I feel like I'm getting this old? Like wow, it's amazing to be to just to see you guys grow and to achieve all the goals and the dreams that you guys have set for yourselves.
Yeah. Our success is your success.
I appreciate that. I appreciate being a part of the village, man. So,
And this
without
is
further ado, we want to allow you. Go ahead, T.
this is another Kane gang, right? I'm gonna help
Yeah, the
you out. I'm gonna
cane
help the
gang.
Kane gang.
You
You
see it.
see
You
it?
see
Smile.
it.
I
You
love
see
it.
it.
So,
So,
Doctor,
Doc, tell the people about yourself. Like, introduce yourself to the people.
So I'm Dr. Cassaundra Wimes. I'm a licensed psychologist down here in Miami, and we're just really advocating for mental health and mental wellness in the community.
that is awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
She's a hurricane. She played for the Lady Canes, Miami Central Rockets.
Yeah, the whole
Awesome.
rundown.
The
Miami
whole
Central,
rundown.
Horace Mann, born raised here in Miami, and had the privilege of going to the University of Miami to play basketball and enjoy every moment of it.
Awesome.
Now, let me ask you this: has basketball contributed to you going into your respective field?
I think it's just sports in general. I have come from a family of athletes, grew up in parks and recreation. Most of my family members worked in parks and recreation. In high school, I ran track, I played volleyball, I played basketball, obviously. So just the exposure to sports, the discipline that it brings, I think has contributed a lot to my work ethic. And I think work ethic is transferable to any industry.
Yep,
That's so
agree.
true. That's so true. So tell us about your office, Unified Counseling. Tell us what you offer to the people.
So the practice is called the Unified Counseling and Mediation. It's a private group practice, which means that we have other clinicians, licensed mental health counselors, licensed marriage and family therapists working on our team. And we really specialize in providing the highest quality mental health services, specifically to Black families. That's really our target population. Although we serve everyone, we really work to destigmatize mental health in the Black community, make this community feel comfortable. We've been in Miami Gardens for about 11 years. We recently moved to Miramar. And so we're just trying to be a part of the fabric of the community and let them know that their mental health is just as important as their physical health.
That's key. That is so key because we talk about this a lot and the stigma that mental health does carry. A lot of us are walking around with hidden trauma, and
Yeah.
we don't like to share it. I know I definitely hide my emotions. Don't like to talk, and I just recently started therapy, so it is something that we have to deal with head on. Just how we play sports, we dealt with that head on, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think we have to do that in the mental health game too because anything we do is, especially basketball, is 95% mental and 5% physical. So
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And you have to utilize it as a resource. If someone brought a resource to you and no, I don't need that resource. Like mental
Yeah.
health and counseling is something that is beneficial to your betterment as an individual and hopefully to your family and your community. And so it's just an added resource. And so we try and encourage people to change their perspective on how they see counseling service and use it to their benefit.
Yes. And what you said, Doc, like it's such a stigma in our community. So it's
Mhm.
amazing that you guys are offering and enlightening our people, our brown, beige, and Black people about seeking that assistance that they may need for their mental health and the challenges that they face. So tell us, you guys service mainly teenagers, adults, a combination, families?
We start at 6 years old. We do individual counseling, couples counseling, marriage counseling, family counseling, and group counseling. So the large majority of what we do is simply counseling services. The second component of what we do is psychological testing for individuals that need a diagnosis for autism, ADHD, learning disabilities. We do clearances for carrying guns, pilots. So any of the kind of ingrained psychological tests that you need approvals for, we do those types of reports as well. And then lastly, we do family mediation services for people who are trying to have a healthy divorce. We do co-parenting plans, visitation schedules, so they don't have to bicker about those things and go through, a bad court experience. We try and get them to settle those things in our offices.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That
So
is
six,
awesome.
so 6 on up.
6 years old, I mean, like that's big. But if we start at that age and we see those signs,
Mhm.
coming at that age and we actually address them head on, we could definitely alleviate or mitigate some of those problems that they may face in school and such. So we can definitely get to the root of those problems early would definitely be beneficial to that child's growth.
Yes, and I think you're absolutely correct. I think we're starting the process earlier now. I wish that it was a part of school because some of these programs, if our children learned how to manage their emotions, manage their anger, regulate their emotions in school, then they don't have to grow up and experience all these negative effects as adults. And how many times have we said, "Oh, I wish I had known that sooner." If I had
Yeah,
known
yeah.
that information. Right? So we have an opportunity through counseling to educate our families, our children, so that we can break those generational curses.
And let me ask you this: with starting with the kids so young, do you guys offer the service for the parent as well? So if the child is going through it, do should the parents go through the service as well?
Absolutely. It's all connected, right? It's no different than PTA at school. Like you need your parents for everything and you need it to go. So absolutely, we spend some time with young people. We may do some play therapy, but we always incorporate the parents in the process because they're going to spend the majority of the time with the kids. So you want to make sure that they have the tools in order to execute what you're trying to accomplish with the kid.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Have
Well,
you
we
ran
just
across any instances where the parents are kind of resistant because it shows accountability and responsibility on their part?
that's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we all grew up with you are a reflection of your parents, right? So I think parents come in and they are hoping that you're not judging them based on the behavior of their children. But I think we have so many tools at our discretion nowadays. We have parenting classes and parenting books, but the reality is sometimes parents are focused on survival and they don't have the time to really invest in those things. So we try and give it to them in a short period of time so that they can focus on the things that's going to move their family forward. So yeah, sometimes we get some resistance, but once again, it's the sports in me, right? It's a team
Yeah,
approach, right? So we
yeah.
need everybody to make this work. I'm reaching out to the teachers, I need the parents, I need everybody in the house. If everybody will come in, that's much better than just one individual. First of all, that person doesn't feel singled out, and secondly, they feel supported in the process.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
being supported. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love it. So, Doc, we're not out of it, but we're semi out of a pandemic. We
Mhm.
know that COVID-19 is still there, and all the variants are still there. But have you seen a rise in requests for services after or during the pandemic?
Absolutely, and that's why you saw so much legislation changing, allowing doctors to practice across state lines. There was such a significant increase in the amount of services that were needed that there were not enough medical and mental health professionals to service individuals, and so they allowed temporarily everyone to practice in any state. If someone needed help, if they contacted you, you could provide services to them. So we had, I would probably say at the height, maybe a four month waiting list of individuals who wanted to receive therapy, really due to the stresses of the pandemic.
Wow.
That's
Man, for
amazing.
a 4 month
Oh,
waiting period? Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say when people want to get into this field, come on, there's not enough of us. We need you
Yeah.
to join the team, to help. Because I tell, hey, put us out of business. That's our goal. Put us out of business so that you don't
Yeah.
need. We want everybody to be mentally well, and we want everyone to have the level of support that they need. But yes, it definitely has been a high demand situation as it relates to COVID, the pandemic, and mental health has been at the forefront of that.
So let me ask you this. What has the crossover meant to you in your entrepreneurial life and in your doctor life from you being an athlete?
I just think it's about excellence. Like you always want to win. Like I want everybody to come in my office to leave out better than they came. Like that's a challenge for me. When you walk through
Yeah.
the door, when you pick up the phone, and when I talk to clients, I say, one of the most difficult things people do is pick up the phone,
Mm.
right? Once you pick up the phone to make that call, I need to get you through the door. And so that's a challenge for me. And so I want to make sure that when people walk out, they walk out better than they came, that they get the service. Because at the end of the day, it's about customer service. We want to make sure that people feel loved, cared for, and that their needs are met when they come to our facility.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I was going to piggyback on that last question we talked about the pandemic, but also adding in social media with your teenagers, and maybe even some adults, because sometimes we can look at the glitz and glamour of the life that people portray on social media and allow it to affect our mental and feel like we're not doing enough, we haven't achieved enough, or something else. So, how do you see social media playing a lot in the way we process or we deal with mental health?
Absolutely. And I think it starts early. It starts with parents because if you don't teach your children values, standards, and beliefs, social media, television, music will. And so when they have that skewed vision of what life looks like, because people are only showing their wins, they're not
Yeah,
showing how
yeah.
to get there, they're showing their glitz and their glamour, and they're not showing the hard work, then I think it misrepresents the work that needs to be put in order to get there. And so definitely the younger individuals are definitely more impressionable. And we have to remember that. So we want to make sure that we are providing them balance to what they see so that they can understand what the reality is to a particular situation. But yes, we have more individuals that are experiencing anxiety, depression, particularly the young people transitioning to adulthood have unrealistic expectations of what they should be doing at certain ages. They think they should be driving a Lamborghini at 23. Now, if you could do that, that's wonderful, but that's not the reality,
Reality, yeah.
for most people. And if that's your bar, you're gonna be sad because that not too many people are going to reach, that level of success at that age. So just making sure that, especially young people are realistic about who they are, what they can accomplish, what their strengths and what their weaknesses are so that they can, thrive in society. Because nobody wants to live a struggle life. We all should have abundance and joy. And so we're trying to get them to that place.
Right.
But yeah, social media plays a huge part in their perception of where they think they should be at any particular point in time.
And I know all of us play basketball at a different day and age, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So when we played, it was about being mentally tough and not being soft. And this generation now, we will call them soft because they don't really know how to deal with adversity. And a lot of times they will use the excuse of, oh, I need to take a mental health day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have you seen that? And I mean, is there any signs to look for as just I don't even know how to word the question, doctor.
I think you have to take a different approach,
Hmm.
right? So as generations change, you have to kind of be in tune with the things that they require. So because students are and young people in general are more aware of mental health, right? Because this kind of double-edged sword. Do you want them to talk about it? Do you not want them to talk about it? And
Right.
now that they have embraced it, now they utilize it to their benefit. So I think, especially when it comes to coaching, when it comes to even teaching and other things, I've heard people say that this generation is more fragile and they lack coping strategies. But I think what has happened is because parents have overcome and they have done better, they have provided their children with more privileges. And so we've tried to avoid the barriers and the struggles that we had when we were younger. So our kids didn't have an opportunity to develop that skill set. And so now when we get to a certain point and we're expecting them to be able to cope, they haven't had to cope with any struggle all their life because we've made it easy for them. And so when they do face adversity, it's just more difficult for them to kind of dust off their coping strategies. We almost have to teach them how to cope as opposed to expecting them to know how to cope.
That's key. Wow, that is key.
That's big. You're right, Doc. We want to work so hard so my child doesn't go through what I went through, but actually the struggle is what made you who you are. You know, those tough times really made you who you are, and sheltering them from some of those tough times could also be a hindrance, or it could be harmful to their character.
Yes, absolutely.
I question another one. So a coach and a teacher, how important is it for those two individuals to also seek out therapy and just talking about it, because they're dealing with a lot. You have a certain number of kids. You're dealing with all these different emotions. Everything they're bringing to you from their parents or what's going on in their lives. I feel like the coaches and the teachers need an outlet as well.
And I would say it's everyone. I would say it's everyone, right? So, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a psychologist. I think that I'm an advocate for being proactive about things, right? We go to the dentist twice a year. We go to the doctor for our annual exam. You know, we have all these things that we're checking, but we are not checking our mental health. The only time that we deal with mental health issues is when it's a problem. And so I think that if we did a better job of being proactive about our mental health, we wouldn't get to the point where we're stressed out. We would be managing our stress along the way. I think the second part of that is, making sure that you're allocating time for your own self-care. That needs to be a part of your hygiene. We do our hygiene every day. What about your mental hygiene? Like, what are you doing for yourself to keep yourself together? Because we're all going to deal with stress. We all suffer from the human condition. So there are going to be times where we all feel anxious. There are going to be times where we all feel sad. Every issue, mental health wise, for the most part, people are going to deal with that from time to time in their life. And you'll need varying levels of support. And I think the most important thing for people to know is that support is there when you need it. You just have to put your pride aside and be able to seek it. But yeah, definitely teachers. I mean, I could talk postal work. I could just go on and on. Postal workers, teachers, coaches, on and on, right? But definitely when you are dealing with helping others and they're constantly leaning on you, then the extra level of support and self-care is definitely needed.
That's a fact.
And we got to clip that.
Psychologists have psychologists.
I was going to ask you that. Like, do the psychologists get a psychologist?
So everybody needs, support from time to time in their life, and there's no shame in that.
Man. And we're gonna have to clip that one, T. That we do all those things. We go get our annuals. We go to the dentist. We go get our eyes checked. But are we doing our mental health check? Making sure our brain and our mind is at its optimal level of functioning. That's big, Doc. That was a word right there.
Because think about it, and just like she said, if you're helping others, you're taking on, I mean, think about the field we're in. We're in real estate as well. We're taking on so much of our clients, and you need an outlet. I know I do. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And like you said, Doc, it's for everyone. I don't think anyone can be excluded from saying that I need to sit down and just talk and to be able to get some coping mechanisms, some ways to deal with some of the things that I'm facing. Because the traumas that we go through in life, we build our own coping mechanism, but they're not always the best way. Running, hiding or not dealing with it are some of just the natural things that we may do, or being alcohol or drug usage, some of the things that people do, but those are not the best things to do. And to admit that I need to go and sit down and talk to someone about what I'm feeling to get some adequate coping mechanisms to help them make it through
Trust
life.
me, we've gone to school for a very long time to know how to address these issues. You do not have to walk around, you know, struggling with things that we have proven strategies that will help you to resolve them. And so, when I hear young people and they say, I always had an anger management all my life, I say, well, how long are you gonna continue to do that? You don't have to walk around with that anymore if you just come talk with us for a little bit. And
Yeah.
so, therapy is like it's not like going to the gym. You can't get abs on the first day. I can't.
Right.
I tell people I have a magic wand. You don't walk through the door, and just because you had an anger management problem, you cured. You have to work on it, and so
Yeah.
that's once again that work ethic and putting the time and energy into it. And whatever you practice, you'll perfect. And so you have to ask yourself what you're practicing in your life. If you're practicing, yelling and cursing and doing all those things, or alcohol and drugs, and that's how you coping, you're just reinforcing those behaviors as opposed to practicing effective coping strategies that will reduce or either eliminate the issue that you have in the first place.
Wow. Oh man, Doc, you hitting the nail on the head right now. Oh my God, I loved
Yeah.
it.
I
Now,
love it.
I do want to offer this because a lot of people would be like, well, you know what? I could talk to my pastor. Your pastor, nothing wrong with being spiritually advised. All
Mm-hmm.
for it. I believe all of us have a higher power and, God is God. But
Mm-hmm.
our pastors are not equipped to handle the mental health. Do you
And
see that a lot?
that's true. I think things are changing. Not too before COVID, I was invited by Pastor Hinton down at Brownsville Community Church to speak to a collective of pastors. And what they wanted to know is how to handle mental health in the church. And we talked a lot about faith and work, right? There are a lot of things that you can pray about and be guided about and listen to your higher power about, but you can pray about your car getting fixed. But if you don't take it to a mechanic, I don't think it's working, right? So it's the same thing. We need that synergy, right? We need
Yeah.
both parts active so that we can, have that forward progress. And that goes with counseling too. Yeah, faith is one of the number one indicators of positive outcomes in therapy. So when I see someone, they got a cross around their neck, they tell me they're a faithful individual, I know that their odds of beating this issue is greater simply because they are faithful. So it is something that works very well with counseling. And like I said, I mean, minimum 10 years of school to be a psychologist, at least 8 years to be a licensed mental health counselor. We have the tools and the strategies to help you to overcome those things. So yes, I encourage people, to make sure that they are nurturing their faith, but don't not do the work in the place that you need, in the areas that you need, so that you can get the results that you want.
Oh, I love that. I love
I
that.
love it. They go
Faith
hand
as
to
a
hand.
tool. Faith
Mhm.
Yeah.
as a tool.
Yeah,
Yes.
Not one standing on its own, but they go working them together. They go hand to hand. I love that, Doc.
well,
So I
exactly. And
mean,
I just want to say one thing, and I
no,
encourage
go
people
ahead.
who are in the church to come together, because you have social workers in your church, you have therapists in your church, just like we have a music ministry and we have a
Yeah.
create a wellness ministry, and
I
utilize
like
the
that.
individuals that are in your congregation that work in that field to support your congregation. And that was one of the strategies that we talked about with the pastors. If they didn't want to go outside, utilize the individuals that are within your church that have that skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna tell my
Mhm.
pastor, you need to definitely add that to. Yeah, I'm gonna text him after this and let him know to add that too. That's a great tool to have for him to be able to, because it shouldn't all fall on him. And it's in some of that, like you said, all those years of school, and I lost track what you said, those numbers, but
10
all
and
those
8.
years of school,
10
or
and
10 and
8.
8, oh, 8, yeah, way beyond what they made the scope of what they are teaching. So you definitely be able to work together as a team to be able
Mhm.
to help those people in the church. So I want to give a shout out to some of our people like Shelly, and you got some classmates watching you, Doctor Rochelle Washington. Yeah.
Hello,
So we
hello.
don't. Yeah, give them a shout out. Jay Farrington. She says she miss you. So you got some people definitely tuning in. But Doc, what are some things, some tools, maybe tips, maybe you can give some parents listening, or even some individuals themselves, to recognize when it's time to possibly seek your services?
Well, I think, one of the things that you want to be is authentic. And so when people ask you how you're doing, a lot of times we just say fine and okay, and we're not honest about what our truth is. I think we have to walk in our truth and be honest about how we're feeling, because people respond to you based on what you say. If you say fine, they think you're fine and they keep it moving. If you say,
Right.
not been a good day today, then people stop and say, well, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I think the first thing that you can do is be honest and walk in your truth and understand what it is that makes you happy and what brings you joy. Because when you're not feeling like yourself and you're not feeling happy, then you can seek out services. If you are not thriving in this life in the way that you think that you should be, you don't have to hit rock bottom to come to counseling.
Yeah.
Right? You can come when you feel uncomfortable. You can come when you feel like you're not going as quickly as you need to go. And so I encourage people to take stock in themselves. And if they feel like they're not at a place in their life spiritually, emotionally, career-wise, with their family and their relationships, if something is out of whack for you and it remains out of whack, right? Because we all gonna have tiffs, or we all have trials and tribulations. But if it's an ongoing thing, months and years, right? That's probably something that you need to work with someone to resolve, because most of us are doing the best that we can. So we've
Mm-hmm.
done what we can to resolve the situation. We've exhausted our possibilities. And when you've exhausted your possibilities and you are not getting the success that you want in your life, that is the optimal time for you to come to counseling.
Ooh, I love that.
Love it. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. Go get
So what's
counseling.
next for Unified? What's next for Dr. Wims? What are we doing? I know you moved, and I mean, and now you're in Miramar. Also, let the people know how they can reach you.
So we shifted with COVID. We became virtual practice. So before we had, I
Awesome.
think, six rooms, six offices, and we were a physical location. You would come to our office. We had the nice couches. Like, do you have a couch? Yes, I have a couch. Um, so we had physical offices for you to come in. So now we're virtual, just like this. So in many ways, I think that has gave people greater access to counseling services, because now they save on gas, they don't have to travel, they don't have to worry about how they're going to get there and so forth. So our services are mostly virtual now. But we're just focusing on being the best that we could be. I
Mm-hmm.
think we want to lead, we don't do any marketing, we don't do any advertisement. It's all about word of mouth. So we tell people, hey, we're reliable, we're results driven, and we are relatable. And so you come through our doors and we want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can for you. And we have an overall brand. I think we're about advocacy. So we have Unified Hints, which is the health advocacy program, which really is a software application for people to be in control of their health. So when they go to their doctor's appointments, they can relay the accurate information about their health care so that they can get the best health that they need. And many of us have portals through Memorial or MyChart or other places, but that's not our complete health record. That's only the
Yeah.
health record that for the doctor that you see that participates with that provider. So Unified Hints, which is the website unifiedhints.com, is a software application where you can pull all of your medical information into that portal. You can I keep my passport in there, my healthcare directives, my power of attorney. So if I'm traveling about and I lose something, I can get back to this country. I can
Yeah.
get access to my healthcare because I got my records. I deal with young people at Job Corps. They don't know their social security number, their health insurance, all of that information you can put in this one unified brand. So that's one of the exciting things that we have on the horizon. So really, we're just building a unified brand of being advocates for the people, making sure that you get the best care that you receive, and that you see people that look like you, that care about you, that's going to make sure that you have the best.
Love
And
it.
how do we get the app? We just go regular app store. How?
Yeah, you can go in the App Store, Unified Hints. You can go to unifiedhints.com. Our website is unifiedcm.com, which is Unified Counseling and Mediation .com. But yeah, we would love to help. We have male staff, we have female staff. We try and make sure we have young folks, we have people that are older. You see these gray hairs. So we're trying to make sure that we have mass appeal and that people feel comfortable getting their needs met, that they don't have to be fearful or ashamed to make sure that they're mentally well.
Wow, that's awesome. What would you say to someone that is trying to get into the profession that you're in? What are some tips that you would give to those that are aspiring to do what you do?
Find someone like the two of you, mentors, find coaches, find people that have done it that can light the way for you. I tell people, when I talk about mental health, I've been working in the mental health office since I was 15 years old because my mother took our family to a psychologist. That's why I'm a
She's
psychologist.
amazing.
Wow.
At
Awesome.
that time, she had the insight back then when it wasn't popular like it is now, to go to a psychologist. He found a Black male psychologist, and he was over back then on 54th Street and like 12th Avenue in Miami. Dr. Isom, he's still my mentor today. And Dr. Isom has made sure that any question that I've had about mental health, being a psychologist, what I need to do next, he's always been there for me to make sure that I was successful. When I started off in the practice, he gave me a room in his office to launch that's how I launched my practice in the evening in his office. He gave me one office space and I used his office. So I would encourage, no matter what field of industry you're in, find someone who has done it, find someone that you admire and see if they will mentor you, because it will make your journey so much easier. And not only will it make your journey easier, but you'll always have that cheerleader in your corner supporting you throughout your journey.
That's major. That's major.
Somebody asked, Krisha asked for us to say the app again.
Unified Hints, HINTS.com. Like get a hint, Unified Hints. So Unified, UNIFIED, hints.com. We try to make it economical for everybody. Is less than a cup of coffee.
I like it.
Yeah, and you use it for your family. Like my mom lives in Georgia. We have a family account, so I know what her doctors are. I know what her appointments are. If I have to step in for her, I can advocate for her on her behalf because I know the information. A lot of us are, parents are aging, or your wife or husband, you got 2 kids. Like you can't remember all that stuff. Like
that's a lot, yeah.
Put it in the app. You got, it's at your fingertips.
That's awesome. You're taking the guesswork out for people, like really eliminating steps. That is awesome. That's awesome.
I want to definitely give your mom a shout out. Like she's just been amazing. She's an amazing woman. Like she has an amazing mom. Like from one career to the next career, she moved to another state. She's in real estate, and launched her own brokerage. Like Miss Josh, she's amazing. Miss Lee, she's amazing. I admire her myself. So I know you had a great example.
Cheerleader. That's who she is. She's a world cheerleader. If you say you want to do something, she's like, figure out how to do it. Let's figure out how to do it.
How you do it.
Love that.
Yeah. I mean, I had the honor of coaching Doc in the summer, and I also had the honor of coaching her sister who played for me at New Orleans. So we have long ties, and of course she's a Hurricane. So definitely, like I said, just honored to be a part of the village and to see you grow, and wishing you many blessings to continue to grow the business and continue to help people, to change lives in an effective way, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm always blessed. I feel like it's a privilege to do what I do. This has always been my dream since I was 15, working in that psychology office. I tell people this is my dream and my ministry. You allow me to do it every day. So it's a privilege when people show up for a session. I get to do my thing. And so I appreciate them as much as they appreciate me. And I definitely appreciate you, Carla, for the impact that you've had on my life and on my family's life. And, we're a team. This is a universal team forever. We always winning. On some front, we winning.
We win it, yeah. Someone asked about having access to a virtual session. So is there a phone number, or you want them to go to the website to possibly book an appointment?
Yeah, go to the website. I think the website will give you all the information, www.unifiedcm.com. We can service anyone throughout the state of Florida. And as long as they're willing to show up and be consistent, we're willing to help.
That's
All right.
awesome.
We'll make sure we put that website in the chat for you guys to
Yes.
be able to
And
get in
is it
touch
only
with Doc.
for the state of Florida, doctor?
Yes. You practice in the state that you're licensed. So we're licensed in the state of Florida. When COVID started, they expanded it throughout all 50 states. And then once COVID kind of let up, then they retracted it back to your original state. So throughout the state of Florida.
Okay.
And you
Now,
can
I
use
gotta
your
ask one more
insurance, you can use your EAP. So you don't always have
That's what I
to
was
pay
gonna
for the
say.
services. You can go, your job usually has free services available through your EAP if you go through your human resources, or you can usually use your insurance and just pay your copay. And some people, if they want to keep things private, they just pay cash. But hey, that's when people want to keep things private, they pay cash. But most people use their insurance. We have most of our clients are just, working class folks that's just trying to do better. They're your teachers and your postal workers and your bus drivers and your police officers that's just trying to, do well for their families, and we appreciate them.
Awesome. So I got one more question for you, Doc.
Mhm.
Has Carla always been the social worker? I mess with her all the time about her social work abilities because she really has those qualities. Like, seriously.
I think that she does a good job of putting personalities together, because when you can take, you talk about Central and Norland and Carol City, you talk about people who've
Hey,
been
Takara,
at
she
each
was
other's
on that
throat.
trip. She was
At
on
each
that trip
other's
we talked
throat.
about.
Oh, you was with Blue and Murray
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
this
she put all
explains
that
a
to the
lot.
side and make it work. So she was able to do it.
Yeah. That's one for the books. I promise you. We laugh every time about that one.
Mhm. Yeah. Anybody that's crazy enough to get in the car and drive to Michigan. Michigan.
Right?
Just
That
to
was
play a
crazy.
game. We gone.
Yeah. We were so hyped. But I mean, that was a great experience. I wouldn't change anything about it. They
True.
they got me ready to be a head coach.
That's why she got all these championships. It's all on us.
Yep,
It's all
exactly.
on us. But what I can say is a lot of the young ladies who I've had the privilege of playing with are very successful in life, doctors and PhDs and engineers and coaches. Even if they didn't end up being a professional basketball player, they won in life. So, we are some successful individuals, in large part to people like Carla, who, poured into us when we were young and made sure that we had things that kept us on the right track.
I appreciate that, Doc. Thank you so much. Well, look, we coming to the end of what we do, and then we have a session called the Hot Cross Zone. So it's like a 30-second. We give you like 5 quick questions, and you give us your answers.
Let's
All right.
go.
So number one, what's your favorite food?
Crabs. Stone crab claws. My season just ended.
I just missed it, Doc. I tried to get something. It was like
I'm at the store. I'm calling. Hey,
it's like, no.
Y'all ready? I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay, dessert or no dessert?
Dessert, always dessert.
Gotta eat the dessert. Okay. Basketball player, you like to play fast or you like to play the slow game? Which one would you pick?
Fast.
You want to go fast. You pressing. You full court pressing.
I'm pressing. I'm trying to get the steal. I'm trying to put points on the board. We're trying to run you out of the gym, make you feel like you weren't supposed to be here in the first place.
See how she touched you mentally? Like she just gonna get all in their mind. All right. Point guard or the post player? Which one would you pick? You gotta pick one. Which one? Point guard or the post player?
Post. I need the ball. I had to give up that point. I started at the point. I realized you pass the ball, don't come back. I need the rock.
Look, I think we might be even now. See, the post players done got.
That's the second post player. I think that was the second. That's the second. That's the second one that said post player. They back to back too. Everybody else went with the PG.
Nah, you get that ball up. He ain't coming back.
All right, so we in the NBA final, well, conference finals about to start. So I know you Miami Doc. Who you have? Who you getting to win the NBA?
I'm going with Golden State.
All right,
Golden State win it all.
Yeah, I'm going for Golden State to win it all, especially since Phoenix out.
You disappointed me with that one.
Clay, Curry, and Poole.
Poole is
over.
Got a
Yeah,
point.
he is
It's
playing
over.
well.
Got a point.
If you see them go on run, when they go on runs, is now if they're not on, it's a problem. But if they go on
Right.
the run,
But it's not too many days that they're not on. So you're right about that.
exactly, exactly. So I
Man,
love
may
my
give my
youth.
Heat a little run.
I'm
I don't
always
know.
hometown, but I got to be realistic. You know, got to be realistic. You know, the East is never really as good as the West. For
Right.
whatever reason, the East is never as good as the West.
Yeah. Only when
I tell
LeBron
you
is in.
what, when
I think.
Clay came back, he really put them up back to, on another level,
Mhm.
having
Yeah.
him back.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, we pull it out. I'm at the parade though, just like I was rooting for you. So I'm at the parade.
We got it documented. She said on the tape.
we got, we
I'm
got it
I'm having
recorded.
the jersey on and everything.
Everything.
Like I never said this. Like I never said it.
Well,
Oh,
Todd,
this
we
is
truly appreciate you coming on with us tonight and just really bringing focus this month to the awareness of mental health and how important it is. And like you said, we go and check on everything else. We definitely need to check on our minds and make
Mhm.
sure we're feeding ourselves the right thing and talking and getting the help that we need. Is there anything else you want to tell the people? Anything you want to leave the people with?
Just take care of yourself and take care of others. Be kind, be a person of integrity, and just be good to people. If we have more goodness in this world, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
exactly. I agree
definitely.
wholeheartedly.
Well, we appreciate you. Until next time, we definitely want to continue. I think this relationship, like, if we can have you on more and just give tidbits and tips to the people, and also just bringing awareness to your office and what you guys can offer to help people out. So we appreciate you. And until next time, we thank you, Doc. You take care.
Yes, thank
My
you.
pleasure. Take
Thank
care.
you. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye bye. Man, that was awesome. That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
The
yeah. She
nuggets.
definitely. I want. We're gonna get that clip, that little clip, when she said about you do, and it made you think. It just made you stop and say, She's right. I
Right.
do all of those things, but how often do I take care of my mind and I make sure that I'm in the right place mentally? So we definitely gotta make sure we encourage the people, as well as ourselves, to make sure we're taking care of our minds and making sure we treat our minds right.
Absolutely. And it's very important. I love what she said about, being relatable, results driven, and really just honing in on, like, you shouldn't reach out when you have a problem, because sometimes reaching out so late, it's hard to fix it. But
Right,
if you reach out prior to, I think, you definitely be in a better place.
right.
Being proactive with your mental health is key as well.
And mixing the faith
Yes, I love
with
that.
this with the doctor. Hey, that's now you're on the right track. You put the two together. It's not one over the other. I have to pick one. We can utilize them together to help edify the people and get us in a better place.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
I think we
Awesome
did
show.
another great. We provided the people with another great show, and something for them to go and think about. We appreciate you guys, Coach Marilyn, my girl Marilyn, Coach. I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you. Home team Shelly was on here. Hey, let's continue to bring great news and information to the people. T.
Absolutely. We'll do. We'll do. It's very important. I think just giving people that voice, being able to speak, because sometimes, things get clouded and you need to hear it from someone else. So I'm glad that we're able to bring on the guests that we can, and they all provide value. They all have provided us with value. And I just want us to continue doing that.
We will. Hey, and like we always say before we go, use the game. Don't let the game use you.
Let's go. You guys have a good
Till
night.
next time. Good night.